Everybody, thanks for listening. I'm Jenny, I'm a life coach, and today I'm talking about the hero's journey. This is the path you take through life. Sometimes it's one big journey, sometimes there's lots of little journeys, okay, but it's all journey related. Um, the hero's journey is the typical arc that your soul takes, okay, in your life story. Um, it's helpful to know where you're at on this map. It can be scary to know where you are, but you're there on that spot either way. So it's better if you it's better if you know. Um, the hero's journey starts out in the ordinary world. You start out with a normal life, unaware of the adventure ahead of you. Okay. And as I go through these, you're probably going to think about the journey you're on now or journeys you've been on. Okay. It's going to follow this kind of trajectory. You're in the ordinary world, and then there's a call to adventure. You receive a challenge or an invitation that sets you on a journey that changes things. You refuse the call. There's some resistance. You might initially reject the challenge due to fear or doubt. And then at some point, a mentor comes in. A guide or mentor helps you prepare for the challenges ahead of you. Okay. My life coach was a big one for me, was a big mentor for me. Crossing the threshold, you leave the ordinary world and you enter the unknown. And this marks the beginning of a new adventure. Then you face tests, allies, and enemies. You face trials, you make friends, you encounter foes along the way. Okay. Um, at some point, you approach the inmost cave, the deepest depths, where you prepare to face a significant challenge or crisis. You face a major ordeal and you confront your greatest fear or a life or death struggle. Then you receive a reward. You seize the sword. After overcoming the ordeal, you receive rewards for overcoming this ordeal, or you gain new knowledge. On the road back, on the road back to the ordinary world, you probably face additional challenges, but nothing quite so traumatic as the big one that you just made it through. And then there's a resurrection. You face one final test or ordeal before emerging transformed by the experience. And then you return with the elixir. You return to the ordinary world with new wisdom, skills, or insights that benefit others. Okay. This is all metaphorical, but I'm going to guess that you can think of how this metaphor has applied to your actual life. There's some other journeys that are not as well known. One is the heroine's journey. I don't care what gender you are. I don't think you get to pick anyway what gender you identify as or what journey you end up on. The heroine's journey, the main difference is that it's less of a solo journey. Okay, the hero still gets help. There's still mentors and things, but the heroine's journey is much more collaborative. The heroine has a lot more help. There's a lot more teamwork, and there's a lot more dark humor in the heroine's journey. It follows a similar arc, but it starts with separation from the feminine. The heroine begins by rejecting traditional feminine aspects of herself to succeed in a world shaped by masculine ideals. There's a call to connection. She is drawn into a challenge that requires emotional presence, care, or reconnection with others. Initiates her journey inward and outward. Adopting the masculine. To survive or achieve success, she leans into masculine traits like control, independence, or ambition, often at the cost of emotional fulfillment. Then comes building the web. Instead of isolation, she begins to rely on community, on finding allies and mentors while tending to relationships, which becomes central to her path. There are trials and successes. She faces external obstacles. She achieves success or recognition, but she soon feels unfulfilled and senses that something essential is missing. There's a crisis of isolation. Her illusion of success breaks down. She faces loneliness, inner conflict, emotional turmoil, and realizes that the enemy is disconnection itself. There's a descent where she is forced inward. She enters a deep emotional reckoning. She confronts buried wounds, doubts, and feminine aspects that she once denied. There's reconnection and help. In her most vulnerable state, she reaches out, she seeks help. It becomes her turning point, and this allows her to embrace both softness and strength. Restoring the feminine is another step. She reclaims empathy, she reclaims intuition and care. She recognizes that these are not weaknesses, but are core sources of power and wisdom. She heals the masculine. She lets go of the toxic need to control. She lets go of aggression. She learns to honor masculine energy in more healthy and balanced ways. Wholeness and community comes with both of these sides integrated, the feminine and the masculine. She heals relationships, strengthens her bonds, becomes a source of healing for others, and then return with wisdom. She brings this transformation back to her world, offering emotional resilience, connection, and shared empowerment as her gifts. I have invented a third journey. Okay, we have the hero's journey, we have the heroine's journey. I also think there is an anti-hero journey, the anti-hero, the morally gray hero. This is about shadow integration. Empaths are really bad at integrating their shadows. They see their shadows as bad. And so I think an extra journey that maybe a mini journey, but still a journey that empaths go on is the anti-hero, the path of reintegrating the shadow. So, your homework is to look at this heroine's journey. You can pick heroine's journey if you want. You can pick anti-hero journey if you want. You can Google search, if you want a list of all the different phases or all the different steps, or you can re-listen to the video. But just think about which journey you might be on and then where on this journey are you. Think about what challenges you're facing right now. Does that feel like you're in the deepest pit? Does it feel like a smaller trial? Try to figure out where on the journey, where on the map you are. That's everything I have for today, everybody. Thanks for listening. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want more information, there's links in the description. Bye.